difficulty getting access to a car, or don't like getting stuck in traffic, or don't want to spend lots of money on transport, this is for you. The Suzuki UZ50 is a small 49cc 4-stroke motor scooter designed to get you from point A to point B in the cheapest way possible. And when you're talking 40 kilometers to the litre, they may have a point. To run and maintain, this thing has a much lower chance of getting a disease than taking the bus, and it's cheaper. If you don't need any more convincing than that, go and buy one immediately. If you're still not sure, there's plenty more information to come. Styling wise, the UZ50 sits on the fence between retro like a Vespa and modern like an Aprilia. The smooth 60s curves are balanced out with modern white and black colour contrasts and an up-to-date backlit gauge cluster. Other colour options such as black, blue and purple are available, or beige if you still live in the 1970s. The styling of the rear end is designed to mimic the Hayabusa superbike, and the side profile looks relatively modern too. My only complaint is the top box, which makes it look like a pizza delivery bike. The engine is a revived version of the single overhead cam 49cc air-cooled, fuel-injected single-cylinder engine from the Let's 4. Because it's a 4-stroke, it doesn't make a huge amount of power, but it's way torqueier than the 2-stroke scooter that I tried. Also, it's light. At 70 kilos, it's over 40 kilos lighter than the Aprilia SR50 motard I took a test ride on, and as a result, off-the-line acceleration is strong. On the flat, it zooms up to 50 km an hour in very little time, but the lack of overall power results in a maximum speed of just 70 km an hour. Starter-wise, it has a simple electric starter on the handlebars and a kickstart backup. For brakes, it has cable-operated drums, both front and rear, which bring it to a halt surprisingly quickly, and the wheels are both 10 inches in diameter. The front and rear suspension are oil-damped coil springs and they soak up the bumps nicely. The fuel tank is 4.8 litres, giving a range on the flat of about 200 kilometres. The gauges are analogue and it has a speedometer, fuel gauge, and engine and high-speed warning lights. The front brake is on the right and the rear brake is on the left, like a mountain bike. On the handlebars, it has a switch for adjusting high and low beam lights, as well as the indicator stalk and the horn. My biggest complaint with the Let's 5 is that for some obscure reason, a full-face helmet doesn't fit in the seat, which means getting a top box is a necessity. Also, it doesn't like hills. That's not to say the Suzuki can't go up and down hills, it's just not as good at it, as I shall now demonstrate.
It's pretty cold southerly morning here in Wellington, but that is alright. So, 50cc powertrain, here we go. Just going for a short ride today. So, up hills. Well, it's a 4-stroke and not a 2-stroke. So, as you expect, the rate of climb, whatever you call it, is not too flash, I'll be honest. So here we are, we're going 25, just letting the engine warm up, so I'm not going to go hardcore yet. But yeah, there's no denying a 2-stroke could get up relatively steep hills at probably at least 40, 45. This sort of can't, unfortunately, which is a little bit disappointing. However, it makes up for that in riding characteristics, so it handles very, very well. And you know, if you have to go a little bit slower up and down the hills, well, so be it. That's all I have to say. So we're going to go just along here. So no cars, right. So let's open the taps. Bear in mind this is into the wind. Right, 30, 35, 40, and we're basically just hitting 45 on the flat before we get to the hill. I'm going to keep it on full throttle. We're doing 40 now, 35, and That's a relatively steep hill, and it's slowed down to about 30 at full throttle. Now this is a new scooter, only done 125,000 k's now, and so I do try not to use full throttle if possible, because I do sort of want to look after it. Bus coming around the roundabout. Handling is good. If I run corners a little bit wide, it's because I'm used to a mountain bike which you can chuck into corners just fine. With this, because it's a bit heavier than what I'm used to, I tend to run corners a little bit wide, unfortunately, but that's right, it's all good. So yeah, to ride, it's comfortable. This is a relatively bumpy road, and it's soaking them all up nicely. And yeah, like I said, handles nicely, gets you around. And yeah, I just really can't see anything wrong with it, to be honest. I just filled it up with petrol. That is some strong wind right there. And I think the tank wasn't completely full initially, but I think if you did have a completely full tank, you'd be able to get probably close to 200 kilometers out of a single tank, which is pretty good going, given it's only like a less than a 5 litre tank. And the other weird thing, and you might be able to see that on the gauge cluster, is that when you fill it up, if you fill it up right to the brim, you actually get an extra amount on the fuel needle. For some reason, when you fill it right up, it actually goes off the end of the scale, so you actually get like extra full when you fill it up with gas, which is nice. Nice bonus. So yeah, it's just great. It's good fun to ride. We'll just nip around here. In terms of acceleration, here we go. Maximum gas. And you can see, I mean, whoa, there we go, that was a good test of the brakes. There we go, that's maximum gears. Beat that guy across the road. Here we go, full throttle, 40, 45, 50, and this is going slightly uphill too, 50, 55. There we go, so just going slightly uphill, it'll hit about 55 before you run out of steam. And on the flat, I've had it going over 60, and downhill it'll probably go quicker than that again, but again, you know, it's not the greatest idea to be absolutely maxing out the engine, particularly when it's new. What are you doing, mate? Go. Anyway, we'll turn in here. Ooh. Definitely over bigger bumps, the suspension struggles a little. Feel the power. Oh yes, it's tremendous. So yeah, it doesn't have the world's biggest amount of power, but it's pretty good. So there we are, that's the Suzuki UZ50. We'll just park up, and I'll see you guys next time.